Hi, welcome to Fertility Talks. I'm Mary Wong, founder of Alive Holistic Health Clinic, author of Pathways to Pregnancy, and your acupuncturist and fertility maven. Maven today, I say, because I love to connect people with other people, especially when you're in the process of wanting to try to conceive. That's a little double thing, whatever. Anyway, I want to welcome Erin McCollough here. Thank you for joining us today.
I'm so happy, and it is so important to share resources, especially when you're aligned with the people that we're sharing resources with, because as we just talked about, it's so important to get your team in this process.
Absolutely.
And it is a team effort, and the more support, the better. I don't think there's such a thing as too much support, for sure.
Absolutely. So I want to thank you for being here. And for those of you who are just popping on first time, I'm a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner and acupuncturist in downtown Toronto. And my aim has always been to help guide women, not just directly in my office, but also in your life. And so I thought, what the heck? Why not create these live posts? It's my volunteer job, by the way, guys, and just for your own benefit. And I don't have to do it alone. So I want to call on other professionals who I love and respect and adore. And Erin is one of them. And we're going to go take a deep dive in what we're going to cover today. But before we do so, I just want to let you know a little bit about her. Okay. So she's a founder of Fertile Hope Yoga. And she just created the first online fertility yoga. And this allows women to practice from the comfort of their own living room floor. So more than a decade, she's been leading the industry with her in-person yoga fertility program at CNY. So what is that, Center of?
Just CNY. It's because CNY Fertility.
CNY Fertility.
It's a big reproductive endocrinology clinic, full service infertility workup.
Yeah. So in Rochester, and I love that. When you say it's a full-on, it's very unique because you guys have been having the alignment, what I call one medicine, which I borrowed from Dr. Paul Magarelli. And so really integrating complementary types of practices along with allopathic medicine. So
yes. And Dr. Magarelli is very good friends with Dr. Kiltz, who's the founder of CNY Fertility. So yes, we're all in this together, and we all have to stay aligned when we see the benefits of combining the best of everything.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think in your center there's reduced fees for fertility services. Is that right?
Yeah.
So, and then that with guiding your patients to
integrative medicine. So
amazing.
Yoga, nutrition, acupuncture, all of it. Everything to impact our bodies, not only at a cellular level, which is either going to help you get pregnant on your own, if that's a possibility, and then also to whatever treatment that you choose, it's going to set you up for better success. That's it. And there's no other way to impact, Miss Mary, there's no other way to impact at our cellular level than these lifestyle choices and lifestyle medicine, like what you and I live and breathe and are passionate about.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we guide people towards their own healing paths and to conception, there are lots of modalities, and you just created this program. And I love this because, we were talking about this research by Alice Domar, and she's out of Boston, right? And where she had discovered that through mind-body programs, there is a higher incidence and threefold incidence of conception. So do you want to speak more to that and then tell us why and how you created your program?
Yeah, so Ali Domar, for me anyways, is a trailblazer in so many ways. And because when we have evidence, scientific evidence for something that we may know anecdotally in our bodies is true, but it's nice to have the Western science support. And what she's basically shown is that when we include yoga, meditation, even coming together in community, the power of women coming together to support each other, your chances of pregnancy, like you mentioned, are increased by 175%. And that she took a control group and she took another group of women over a year. One group was, they're all in fertility treatments with a fertility clinic. And then the first group, though, that also included the mind-body practices, we're 3 times as likely to get pregnant. And that's like super powerful, super powerful.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And I'm going to address something else. We're going to be going off track, and then we're going to get back on track.
Okay.
And I'm sorry. So, and this has nothing to do with you, but it does have everything to do with Alice Domar.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So I'm going to add this piece in, and this might be interest of you if you don't already know this.
Okay. All right.
So there was a study years ago, 2002, by Paulus, and talking about acupuncture and the implications on doing an pre and post embryo transfer acupuncture treatments. And so Alice Domar was the first American that tried to duplicate this. Now, what was different and what wasn't working so well was that she changed it slightly, because she did the acupuncture before and acupuncture after the embryo transfer. But the control group was another group that was lying down, resting in a quiet room, listening to, nice music. And so that's supposed to be the control group. And what ended up happening was that there were more chances of conception with the group that was lying down. Okay. So the reason why this is important is because then the outcome looks as though acupuncture doesn't work and doing nothing works. But what you got to see beyond that is that the control group, there was an active treatment being relaxation.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. The relaxation response.
Yes. And what you don't know is that none of these people that had acupuncture, they've never had it before. So imagine it's like, okay, we're going to make you pregnant and we're going to do some acupuncture, and I've never had it before, so I'm scared. So what kind of a healing and relaxing response are you going to create? Right. So there's some deficiencies in that study. And the other piece that we don't know is that who were these people that performed the acupuncture? Were they just any kind of doctor that was like, oh, here's the point? Or are these trained professionals that have had 3,000 hours of training in acupuncture, so that when the needles get inserted, they don't even hurt? Right.
The reproductive end of it is its own specialty with acupuncture, and just like in any in Western medicine, how we have the OBGYNs and this and that, fertility medicines is in traditional Chinese medicine is the same. I mean, what you do is not going to be the same as someone who doesn't specialize in that way.
Absolutely. So for those of you watching, so just know when you get acupuncture, you actually have to go to the right person that performs it, that has had the appropriate training, who has had oodles of experience with regards to fertility in of itself, and then Chinese medicine as a specialty in of itself.
So this brings me, and maybe this will bring us back on track.
Perfect.
It's the same with yoga. So we were discussing before, right? Like, well, can I just go to any yoga? Or can I, what's the difference? Like, which yoga, do I have to go to fertility yoga? Or is that what is the difference? The difference is 10 years of dedicated teaching, knowing exactly. So yoga is a holistic practice, just like acupuncture. So that's the cool part about all our conversation, right? We have a little bit different approach and techniques, obviously, but the holistic nature of what we're offering is the same. Mind, body, emotions, energy, spirit, all of these things are so uniquely positioned when you're in this phase of your life, and how you deal and what you offer to help manage, to move, to transform these parts of, and then what you're working towards is an art. It's an art. The needs are very unique. Everything I do, all the sequences I put together, all the group program, even just the way I structure the classes, is like, there's not like a regular yoga class. And I would also like to take this moment to mention that yoga in general is been turned in the Western world into working out.
Yes, thank you. So important.
And yoga is not a workout. So if you're going to yoga to do a workout, that's okay, I suppose. But the foundation of yoga is about learning how to be one with ourselves in any given moment, in any given circumstances. How do we stand strong and rooted? And that's a lot of layers. That's a lot of training and practice. And it has nothing to do with athletics or, mobilizing into these poses that may or may not be even hurting you because you're trying to force your body into these crazy things. It's not about that. And we have to, if I can just make a point of like, yoga is not exercise. Yoga is not working out. Yoga is a training for our mind, which directly influences how our body is operating from the inside out. It's an attunement. It's an attunement.
Yes, absolutely. It's attunement, and it's about turning inward. And I love how you speak to this, because this really is aligned with Chinese medicine. Because we talk about, when we're like trying to get pregnant, it's very yang, it's very it's very active. And really what we're missing in our society, and it's like, how do we get back to ourselves? So through modalities like yoga, the way it's meant to be done, more yin, more nourishing. And that's what you're.
So I'm a big advocate of like, if you're going to go work out, then go work out, go like run and do whatever but don't treat your yoga practice as a workout. Treat it as a way to counter the workouts, because working out is the way and I don't know if you agree with this, Mary, or not, but what I teach my students is there are times in your cycle that it's appropriate to burn off energy, right? Like to get into that more yang, like burning and moving and like getting some anger out, and sometimes that feels good, right? But it's not always appropriate. And there's times in the cycle. So and that's where someone like you and myself, to have a guide who was in this field, who knows what those times are, to help guide you, because we have windows, of opportunity everywhere. There's windows no matter where you are, and to help tap into what those opportunities are in those phases is what our job is, to me.
Absolutely. And I really love how you hit the nail on the head about, this is not like your workout. So a lot of times people say, oh, but Mary, I don't want to do yoga because I feel like it's not a workout. And so that's exactly what is, right? I mean, because
but then
the replacement.
You know what it is? You know what yoga is? It's brushing your teeth for your mind.
And body.
And body. Would you not brush your teeth? Like let all that like crap? No, nobody would do that. Nobody I want to hang out with would do that.
I'm going to say some people don't brush their teeth, but
Okay. Well, anyone who's in my circle brushes their teeth regularly. And so it's hygiene. It's hygiene for our mind and body and emotions. And I don't know, I could not live without it. And it's a hygiene practice.
And so I love that, because so what you're actually saying is that some people don't even have this hygiene at all, right?
Yes.
Because this is a type A personality, go, never stop, and think that that's life and that's it. But that's leading a very imbalanced life. There's yin and yang, and we need to balance both. And if you're all yang, all action, then there's no coming together.
Or the person that doesn't feel, right?
Yeah.
Holds on. Has to fight, and never let go, right? That same thing.
Absolutely. And so, going back to this little picture here, like this is an open womb, right? If you're one-sided, we're not being very receptive. There's a disconnect. we need to bring it back to balance so we're more open and receptive. And so it's not just about, yes, we'll honor your ability to go, but there needs to be some
balance.
Yeah, a balance. So what did you say? You said to counter. I actually don't like the word countering so much, if you don't mind me saying so.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe it as a true opposing force. It's just
okay. Yeah.
Right. So it's
so what's a better word we could say? Like,
you said balance. You did say
balance. Okay, balance.
So,
yeah.
To put you back on track and rebalance. And I think that's really what the heart of it is. And, how do we bring us back to balance so our heart are open to receive?
You're right. Because it's not linear necessarily, right?
No.
So it's a drawing, it's an opening and a restricting. It's our breath. We're breathing, we're inhaling and we're exhaling, So in life, if we're constantly holding our breath, inhaled, and we never exhale, which is the letting go, surrender, then okay, then you need to come visit us because you gotta let go, man.
That's right. Okay, exactly. So, all right. So you kind of, I was going to go to back to those basic questions in terms of back to yoga, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So you put it so eloquently that it's not about seeking out yoga for fertility as a form or a different form of exercise. So we need to shift our mindset about how to approach yoga coming from a fertility standpoint, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes.
Okay. And then, so, when they're asking, meaning the people that come to us and say, well, what kind of yoga should I do? Should I be doing, can I go to hot yoga? Should I do Ashtanga yoga or yin yoga? And of course, I'm going to honor and say, hey, check out Erin. But outside of that, not to be biased in any way. By the way, guys, just so you know, she's not paying me to say this.
Yeah, totally not.
I really want to support you in your process but there are going to be people that will say, you know what? I don't want to do any kind of program out there. I just want to go to some neighborhood thing. So what kind of yoga will I do? So what would you tell that person?
So then in general, stay away from hot yoga. It's too young, or if we're talking energy, right? You're expending energy. It's too much. You need to conserve. If you're going to be growing a baby and nourishing your organs, and think about anything you can do that will trigger you to get into your relaxation zone. And too much burning energy, it's too much. So in general, stay away from that. And then you can look at your cycle. So in general, you could look for more they actually have yin yoga, restorative yoga, gentle yoga in general. Those would be, I guess, I would guide you that way. Even prenatal yoga, if that's not too triggering for you.
That can be very triggering. What are you talking about?
Well, I know, but some people can do it, and
really?
Sometimes, I have students sometimes who will feel like it's actually like an invitation for them. Yeah, I know it's not the norm, but I thought it's throwing it out there, right? It's part of imagining what's possible, right? And and embodying where they walking, what they want. So it's not for everybody. It takes a special person to be able to do that.
Absolutely.
But it is an option, and I've had people do it. And then and just in your 2-week wait, time when you could be pregnant, that's a really vulnerable time. So in that case, I would really, there's just so many teachers that are not educated. So I would find a teacher maybe that's even educated on pregnancy yoga, even if they're not teaching a prenatal class, and who could then guide you through that time, because there's lots of poses that are actually restricting and creating a ringing. Every yoga posture has an effect in the body, whether it's an opening, whether it's a squeezing, whether it's a contracting or restricting, or there's every pose has impact on the body, and especially looking at the uterus during that time. We want it to stay nice and open and warm, and we don't want any squeeze. It's not the time for cleansing, like the wringing out, no.
Right. Yeah, not contracting. Yes.
Yeah.
That's great. And so that brings us back to fertility yoga, which is there are certain times of your cycle that you do specific poses, and hence in your programs that you've done, you do different things for different times of the cycle.
Correct.
Right. So then I guess in your online program, there's different streams of where you're going to be in your cycle, and
you choose your path. So there's 4 different paths. There's a path if you're trying on your own at home naturally that month, if that's an option. There's a path for IUI IVF if that's where you're at. There's a path for frozen embryo transfer, and there's a path for when you're on a break, because that's just like we talked about the window of opportunity. That's one of the best windows of opportunity to really look at your cellular health and do some intensive work with that. So there's a path for that. So you choose your path, and then you navigate accordingly through the practices.
Well, I think that's probably a missing in some of these other people that do fertility yoga, because I think that is one of the most important pieces, the letting go and just not doing everything that's related to fertility. So having that stream is awesome. So I really want to commend you for creating that piece.
Yeah. I try to help people reframe it all the time into that part is an opportunity.
Because frozen, so let's see if she'll unfreeze. Oh, you're unfreezing. There you go.
Okay. Sorry. You were frozen to me, and then I was frozen to you.
Okay. All right. So let's see what happened. I think our voices were still there, but anyway. Well, so speak more about the whole, because, the mind body thing in terms of, because everybody's like now going to go about the research and go, oh my gosh, I want to be 175% times more fertile. So what do I need to do? So there's yoga. Yeah. What's the other component?
So the components specifically that I address, mind body medicine is like a huge umbrella term for a lot of things. So I can speak to what the components of that I offer, and you could certainly speak to the components of within that umbrella that you offer. But specifically at Fertile Hope Yoga, the components of the programs are mindset, so words, beliefs, what we and our thoughts, and then so mindset, the yoga, meditation, and community. To those community being with unconditional love and support from those in the similar track or journey, and having a safe place to process and express and and just reach out when you hit a point of I'm not sure what to do, needing clarity, needing a hug, maybe it's just a hard day, whatever you're needing, that you can reach out and have. So and those are the components that we address.
That's really great, because I think that's, again, is very much missing, because there's so much focus on, okay, what else can I do? What else can I do? And community and the support and love, the vibration of love and is healing.
The vibration of love. Yeah.
And unfortunately, most people going through this private journey, that's exactly what they do. They keep it private. They don't want to share with anybody. And oftentimes I'll hear, oh gosh, my parents don't even know. My best friend doesn't know. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
And when that just contracts all your energy. So we're trying to create and expand the life force energy, and yet we're contracting and concealing. So I'm not saying now go about and tell everybody that you know.
No,
indiscriminately.
Yeah, but if you have a safe place where you feel like you can open up, it just creates this whole new life that you didn't know was possible, and it just opens up a whole new way of being through this journey and then through the rest of your life, because it is possible to navigate through these challenges in a different way that feels supported and loving. And Mary, you and I have talked about this. A lot of the free Facebook groups and things like that where people go in are very negative.
Yes.
I don't see those as loving places to be able to truly open up. Maybe you can get some logistical answers, about different procedures and money and things like that, but they are not places that I see as really a safe, nourishing container of that's next level. And that's something that has to be facilitated by whoever is owning the group, and something I take a lot of pride in my communities.
Yeah, and I love it that you create a community. I haven't yet created one.
You have your Facebook community here.
Yes,
you have different communities and different ways.
Yes, I know. I guess I'll have to at some point create like more of a private group. But you're right. I think all the chat lines out there, or chat groups out there, and Facebook groups out there that are free, it's more what I call bitching sessions and comparing. Right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of comparing.
Yes. And it's not comparing is like the devil, man. It's not helpful for you or for anybody to go into that mindset. Because, and I preach this all the time in my groups, every single person that's walked through my classes and in front of me in the last 10 years has had a different journey.
Yes.
Every single journey is unique. Now we have common threads and we weave this beautiful tapestry, but it's together. But comparing is taking away from yourself. It's there's nothing good that comes out of it.
No,
nothing good.
And it's fear-based. There's a lot of worry and versus the kind of community that you're talking about, which is love-based, right?
Yeah, so we talk a lot about abundance, which is love, versus scarcity mindset.
Yes.
And a lot of the groups are, and it's not like they're intentionally like, we're going to have a scarcity mindset group. It's just, it takes a lot of training and it takes a lot of, it's a professional thing. It's, to me, to be led in a professional way, by people who are trained in this, to lead in that way. And there's a lot of nuances and, a lot of boundaries and a lot of modifications and things encouraging that have to take place and for really to stay on that track of abundance.
Yeah. And I love that. And the thing is too, I mean, it's not like we're going to, negate your sense of feeling. We own it, and you're allowed to feel however you feel.
Yes, of course.
Right? I mean, because you do have to be able to feel the fear and the worry and the grief, and that's to be human. But it's like, what do we do with it after that? Can we let go and can we create abundance despite that?
And can we feel and just feel instead of also grasping, right? At the same time. There's a very different feeling. There's a very different, it's a different, completely different approach. I'm feeling and I need, however way, and I'm needing some encouragement, or I'm needing and some just to be listened to, or I'm just, versus I'm blaming this and I'm hating this and I'm, spouting off about this and, everyone's bad or this.
Back on here. I'm back on.
I'm like, she left me.
Okay, I think that just means it's a sign to wrap it up.
All right. Okay. I know we could probably talk for hours.
I know. People want the goods and then they want to leave. So let's.
Okay, all right.
So I love what you're up to, and like I said, so yours is called the Fertile Hope. What is it?
FertileHopeYoga.com. You can learn more. I also have a free affirmation deck to help with mindset that I give away on my website. And my programs are not always open because I have enrollment and then I close the doors to be able to focus my attention on my members. But right now the doors are open. So I am taking new students right now.
And is it like a specific number of weeks, the course?
No, when you purchase the course, it's for life. Yeah, you have it for life.
Okay, but like, sometimes it's like 8 modules or, whatever like that. So how is that?
So there's 4 modules in the course, and it's based on what path you're doing. It isn't based on like a timeline so much as it's based on if you're in this type of cycle, here's your practices for that month. Okay. And then it goes through your first trimester. Maybe that's
cool.
Helpful.
Okay, up to your first trimester.
Through your first yeah.
Awesome. So then knowing whatever part of your cycle you're in, you would just repeat that kind of yoga.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah. And then my pregnancy program, I'm going to start filming that next week. So that'll be once you become pregnant, then you can opt into the next.
Perfect. That's exactly where I was going to go. I'm like, how about the pregnant ladies? Okay, yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
You just addressed it. Yeah. Awesome. Good for you. I love this. And I know that'll make a great impact. And, being able to reach, the more people we're able to reach, wow, that's awesome, because we can make the journey a little lighter and more hopeful and, feeling more semblance of control, right? Because there's things that we want to be able to do.
And there's so much you can control. There's so much you can control. Starting with how you're choices of how you want to navigate. And it's so much better when you have a team, when you incorporate some of these mind-body practices like acupuncture, nutrition, yoga, all these things. And those are going to feed you for life, because you establish these practices now. It's going to help your children. It's going to help your families. It's going to help their children. It's creating new pathways of health, really.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. That's called epigenetics. So, what you do now makes an impact for your future generations. So, yes. So do it.
Do it. Yeah.
Everyone, do it. Just do it. Okay. And then we're going to keep the conversation alive. Check out my previous posts. And for those ladies who are just beginning to do IVF, for example, a couple of posts ago, I did this live post where I stuck myself with needles. And because I thought, wow, I see lots of women that do the injections on their own. I'm like, how the heck do you do that? Because when I went through it, I actually had my husband do it for me.
Okay, so you did it?
So I did it live. I showed my butt to everybody. So if you're gonna contemplate this, and if you have patients that are gonna do IVF, because the teaching clinics aren't very long, and then you're left to do it all on your own. It's like, oh, right? So I did it. So watch it. It's pretty awesome.
I'm going to go watch it.
I'm crazy. I am crazy. But for the greater good.
The next one we're going to do did you do the progesterone and oil one?
I did progesterone.
Oh my gosh.
I did the abdominal ones. I did 2 abdominal ones, and then the progesterone and oil by myself. Thank you very much. And they didn't hurt. So I know you guys can't believe me, but it didn't hurt. I was scared. I'm not going to lie. And it didn't hurt. So anyway, check it out. There's lots of awesome, cool things. And they're like really practical stuff as you navigate this journey. So go check it out. Scroll down below. Go to marywong.life. Look up all the videos. And you can actually subscribe to my YouTube video. And then you're in all the time. Because I know most of you don't want to because you want to be private. So there you go. Okay. And if you haven't done so already, check out my book, Pathways to Pregnancy. And I think it'll really help you along your journey. That's why I wrote it. Again, same thing. The premise of helping you along this journey and providing you insight as to different women's stories and how we're all the same and unique at the same time. So thank you again, Erin, for your insight. And I learned so much just about sharing with the women about yoga and not looking at it as exercise in any way. I love it.
That's where that's the real question. That's the real heart of what we need to educate about. It's not exercise.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you. Okay.
Bye.
Bye, guys. We'll talk another time. Bye.